Okay, so you've been transporting your push bike and you've got the front wheel off, and this is what you have to do to get them up on the roof rack or bike rack sometimes and things like that. But I'm just going to show you, because it's quite complicated, how to get the wheel back on and get all of these bolts and washers in the right spot. Down here, the bolt needs to be fully undone out to its max. This one here. There's a bit of grit on this, so it's a bit tight. And if you wind it out, you can actually normally do it without taking the bolt right off. That's just a little bit easier to keep the washers in the right sequence. So about halfway, so stop there. That's good, it's still on. And then on the other side, the same thing. You hold the wheel. So we've got one washer. We want to get all of the dirt off here. And then this special washer with this little key lock piece on it, that needs to go that way. And then the nut needs to go back on. Can you hold it still, please? Just like that. And then the order, you need to get the actual forks need to come down between the two washers. So they're both now ready. You hold the camera. Now this tyre also is directional. It says on it here, it says rotation that way. So under normal conditions it wants to spin that way. That's to do with the tread here. Whoop, and here, before we can get the wheel on, we're going to have to do release. If you come up, focus right up here close. This is a quick release handbrake. This needs to be squeezed right in as fully as you can, and then that actually releases off, and then you can fit the wheel through here, and it goes back on in exactly the same way. So we've got all these washers where they need to be. And now, this really is a lot easier with two people. Set it in place. You need to spread the washers as maximum as you can, like that and like that. And then you sit the wheel down into the slot between those washers. So what's really, really important here is that you get the hub here, and then a washer, and then another washer, and then the nut, and you want to come in between those two washers. So, whoop. Get that into place, make sure the brakes aren't fouling at the top of the wheel. That one to sit right. That one to sit right. There we go. Down it goes. Okay, now on the forks you'll notice that there's a hole here, and that is actually for that washer. That needs to lock in place there. That's very important, because even if this comes loose, when it's like that, even if it's loose, the fork can't come off and have your wheel fall off. It holds the nut here in place. So we'll do them up finger tight on both sides, remembering of course to get that back in that hole. That is a very important little safety feature. Sort of finger tight both sides, and then to line it up, you need to line the wheel up with the fork here to get it into alignment. And it really does help if you put the brake back on at this point. So to help with the wheel alignment, I actually do the brakes up next. These are a quick release brake, so you just have to squeeze them into place. And there's a little, you can focus up on this here. This part, metal part here, has to poke in through there. So it comes in over the top, and you've got to give it a good tight squeeze. Like that. This one's a bit tight. There it goes. Up. There. In. There it goes, and it sits up against the shoulder there. If that's too tight, you can actually adjust up here. You follow your cable up, and you can loosen it off here at the adjustment, and that'll make it easier to get that quick release on. So you make sure that the handlebars are down. And this, again, this little pin will make sure of that. You check the gaps on both sides, and then you line up the wheel, because it needs to not be sitting crooked, but it needs to be sitting straight, and I'm happy with how that's sitting. And then this is a 15mm spanner. We then do it up tight, just reasonably tight on both sides, keeping it equal. And then check that alignment again, give it a spin. That's really good. Then you can tighten it up all the way. That's undoing. Here we go. If you lean on the wheel a bit, you can hold it firm. That's up nice and tight. And then the same there. Okay, that's done. So the important thing is you've got a washer this side with the pin going through the hole, and you've got a washer this side. You've got a washer on both sides. The same here and here. Brakes are connected. And then you can check your brakes, give it a spin, check them. Perfect. Okay, that's ready to ride.